Hello and welcome to the Anxiety Project channel. In this video, I'm talking all about anxiety setbacks. Now, you're in anxiety recovery. You decided, you know what? I gotta change. I must change. So now you're on this road. You've taken on the responsibility of your anxiety. You're improving your life. You're improving all aspects of your life mentally, emotionally, physically, energetically. And you're moving towards this ideal. So as you're moving towards that ideal, you're going to encounter a setback where you resort to old destructive behavior, habits that kept you in that anxious, weak, low confident you. So, and it happens to everybody. So, what are setbacks exactly? Setbacks is when you resort back to destructive and unproductive habits, the old identity, the old you. That's what a setback is. The old you is the you that goes against the values and principles of the ideal you. So you're moving towards the ideal you, the one that's not reactive to all of the sensations, the emotions, and is more neutral actually, and confident and powerful and strong physically, mentally, emotionally. So that's the goal, that's the aim. You've aimed towards that, and you now experience a setback. Setbacks may include running out of the environment when you experience panic. A setback can include Googling a symptom on Dr. Google, right? Reassurance seeking. A setback can be, spending the whole day in bed and not feeling motivated to do anything. A setback can be resorting to alcohol or marijuana or old unhealthy habits. It can include going back to an ex-friend or an ex-partner, fulfilling those urges, right? That provide you with instant gratification, but also has a long-term, more damaging result. So it's really resorting back to a destructive habit that supported your old self, the old identity, right? And that's not good. But we will experience it because we're humans. That's it. You're going to experience it. I experienced it. I experienced so many, lots, tons. I mean, that's all it was, a setback, but then one foot in front of the other, and then you experience a setback, and then you get yourself back up again. That's what the journey is all about, to molding this new confident and powerful you. So what happens when you have a setback? Well, you beat yourself up. You feel guilty, ashamed, and then you start to question, is this even possible? Am I even going to get to the ideal? How am I going to get there? I mean, it's just too far away, and I'm just weak and I don't have the strength and power to get there. That's what happens. Beat yourself up, and it can affect you for sure. But it's important to know that you're a fallible human being, that mistakes are inevitable, that recovery is all about failure. And I'll get to that later, but it is all about failure. And failure is necessary. When people introduce new habits, they're very bad at it. Why? Why are people so bad at introducing new habits? Well, the unconscious mind needs to get used to it, first of all, and it takes 21 days for a habit to become habitual. But it's not only that, it's you're stumbling around, you're learning, you're trying to figure it out. And that's what it was like for me when I was starting to meditate. I was figuring it out. I couldn't even cross my legs together because I never did it before. So I'm like, cross my legs together and sit up straight. And it was painful and my legs hurt and I couldn't even get my thoughts to calm down and I couldn't even sit still. I kept opening my eyes. I was bad at it. But I kept doing it because I knew that the more I do it, the more I can get to my ideal self. That is the way. So I must be bad at it. I must fail in order to get to the ideal. I must be bad at it. So I can learn. I'm learning. I'm learning as I go along. And I'm figuring out the meditation apps and I'm figuring out what meditations work best for me, and it's all a learning experience. So when you introduce a new habit as you go along, you're going to be very, very bad at it. And that's okay. So it's important when you have a setback to not let it snowball out of control. So you don't let this setback last for more than 2 days. Don't just sit around and wait. Because people play the waiting game where they say to themselves, you know what, I'm just going to wait around until the opportunity presents itself. And that is not good. That is not good. Because the opportunity won't present itself, and even if it does, how will you know? That's a good question, because as you're learning to all of these new techniques and strategies and creating this lifestyle to get to your ideal, how are you going to know what is good and what not good, but more like what is the ideal moment that has presented itself? What is that cue? You're not going to know what it is because you have to keep stumbling. You have to keep getting up and moving forward and not waiting around. So, how should you handle a setback? How should you handle a setback? Well, like I said before, the first thing that comes up is you start doubting yourself. Oh, I'm just not good enough. This is just way too hard. I can't do it. I can't get there. It's just I'm stuck and I'm weak, and all of these negative, irrational thoughts pop up. A great way to handle those is to put everything in the past tense. Meaning, I used to be this anxious guy or girl. I used to be uncomfortable in social situations. I used to be very shy. I used to be weak. I used to feel irrelevant. All of these things, because what that does, it moves yourself away from the old you. It detaches itself. You disassociate yourself from that old identity. And that's really important. So you don't stay stuck with that old identity. You keep moving forward. And that's a great way to handle those irrational thoughts when you have a setback. And the probability of you recovering from anxiety in one shot is 0. It's 0. Nobody recovers in one shot. It's a game where you stumble. You stumble along and then you learn as you go along. That's the game. That's the journey of anxiety recovery. And when you stumble along, you're going to learn what you shouldn't keep on doing. This is so important. What you shouldn't keep on doing. That's what anxiety recovery is all about. So the degree of setbacks decline, the more setbacks you have. So the degree of setbacks decline, the more setbacks you have. So keep moving forward, keep failing, because those failures will lessen and lessen and lessen the more you keep going. That's so important to understand. So knowing that, now our perception of anxiety setbacks are not even negative. They're actually a good thing. Having a setback is actually a good thing, because you know that in this state of hell that I'm in is not good. I don't want to be here. So then you attach pain to this state, to this old identity that you resorted back to. So now you say, you know what? I don't want to be in this state of hell. I don't want to stay in this spot, in this identity. So now that gives you the drive, the fire to propel and move towards that you. Because that's what recovery is. You're just going to learn as you go. And to add that fire to I don't want to stay in that old identity, in that old state. That's what's going to get you to your destination in the long run, because anxiety recovery is a long-term game. It's a long-term game. And now I'm going to end with this. And I'm just going to repeat what I said earlier. You have to become the fool, meaning you got to stumble around, fail, and then learn from it, to become the master. Thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode. Do not let anxiety define who you are. I will see you in the next video. Bye.